This I usually use Google, the Google one, Google Meet. But so I just set this up. I'm doing good.
Cool. Yeah. No, and I always mute myself too because I'm always like I never know what's going on in the background at my house. So my daughter could be screaming that she pooped her pants, or she's better to play it safe. And my daughter's 2. She's not like 13 or anything. So
Yeah, I assume so.
It surprises me that I was able to get a boyfriend.
okay, I'm gonna go through and see missing. And really quick, everyone, while we're waiting for a few more people to log on, I've noticed there's like a 3 or 4 minute mark after the meeting starts where everybody decides it's time to log on. So we'll wait a few minutes here. But in the meantime, if you would check and see what your screen name is, and if that is not your actual name, please change it to that just because it helps me figure out who's who. I'm checking everybody in. We're gonna wait 1 or 2 more minutes here, guys and gals. Okay, 1 more minute. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm glad you all made it. So tonight is going to be really just an orientation. So we're not going to be doing a ton of like classwork, homework stuff tonight. So this is more an opportunity for us to get to know you a little bit better, to introduce ourselves as the, I hate to even say instructors because we've got so many other people coming in to help teach this class, but facilitators would probably be the better word. And then talk to you a little bit about what to expect from the course, and then answer any questions that you guys might have if we can. I mean, there's going to be some things that we might just say, wait for a couple weeks and you'll find the answer to that out. And to set up some of the expectations, because it's not a ton of work that you guys have to do for this course, but there is some homework that goes along with this. If you haven't read the email that went out to you, there's a little bit of homework that goes along with this in addition to attending the sessions and doing the driving, stuff like that. But we'll start out first with introductions, and we'll start out with the facilitators, and I'll start with myself. So I'm Leland Bunting. I'm the 4-H resource educator in Saratoga County. I've been involved with tractor safety, 4-H tractor safety, since I started in 2014, 2015, something like that. And I will say that this is one of my favorite things to do in 4-H, because it's such a hands-on. Now, obviously with virtual, there's a little bit less of a hands-on experience with it. But it's so much fun to see not only kids who are like very experienced with equipment kind of learn things that maybe you didn't know, or realize that you have some bad habits you didn't realize you had. But I also like working with kids who have never stepped foot on a piece of equipment. And there's always like these little light bulb moments that happen, and it's really enjoyable. And I usually end up learning things too, because as somebody who has operated tractors and equipment for a long time, I develop bad habits, and as the nature of it goes, you tend to redevelop bad habits. And so it's a good refresher for me every year. So just a little bit of my agricultural background. I'm originally from Illinois, so I grew up in Southern Illinois. I'm losing my accent some, but you can kind of hear it occasionally. But Southern Illinois, if you've never been to that part of the country, it's pretty much all crop production fields. I mean, there's a little bit of livestock production, but almost all of it's corn, soybeans, and winter wheat. So I grew up, baling hay, helping out farmers around, and then went to college to get my bachelor's in agribusiness economics. And then I became a high school agriculture teacher and FFA advisor. And then my wife and I moved out to New York, and I got involved with 4-H. And so that's a little bit of my experience. I think that's it. And so we'll let Chris introduce herself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Nestle. And even though I have been in extension for 34 years, I have only been working with tractor safety since 2007. And like Leland, I really enjoy this course. Seeing all you, I learn from you, I learn from our presenters, and we do have a small farm, and it usually does not involve me driving the tractor, but when I get to it, it's fun. And we have an antique tractor that has a hand clutch that's fun to operate as well. So, and I have been in 4-H since I was 10 years old, and I grew up here in Washington County. I actually grew up out in Kingsbury, and I really am a believer in 4-H, but more importantly, non-formal education. I did teach school for a handful of years, and this is way better. So welcome, everybody.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kayla Statham, and I am the 4-H and adult agriculture educator in Rensselaer County. I apologize. I'm keeping my camera off for the meeting. It's the day after my second COVID shot, so we're looking and feeling a little rough today. But I moved to upstate New York in August of 2017. I am Tennessee born and raised. Sorry, I do not have a Southern accent whatsoever. But I actually didn't start, I grew up in 4-H, but I did a lot of public speaking. So I didn't really start getting into ag and getting animal experience until high school. Participated in FFA and everything, and then graduated from the University of Tennessee with a Bachelor of Science in Animal Science and a minor in theater. And so I have loved my time here with CCE. And again, since I don't have a large ag background, I actually did not grow up driving tractors or anything like that. So Leland and Chris have taught me everything that I know. So we're excited to have you guys here for this year's program.
And Kayla also recently, Kayla, what TV show were you on earlier this year?
Oh, for my interview with RFD TV, which is the rural television station, I actually was able to do an interview when I went back home. My dad works at a news station back home. He's a meteorologist. And so he shared one of my 4-H awards, and then they asked for if I would like to come in for an interview. So that was also very exciting.
Thanks, guys. So what we're going to do now is just kind of go around, and don't feel like you guys need to give us your whole life story like we tend to do. Being educators, we tend to talk way too much. So don't feel like you need to give a 20-minute speech, but we'll go around and I'll tell you what, just so we don't have awkward silence, I'll just kind of go around who's on my screen. And what we would like you guys to share is your name, where you're from, kind of, you know, just a little bit about what you do in 4-H. Some of you, this may be the first thing you've ever done in 4-H, which is absolutely fine. Some people have been involved with 4-H since they were 5 years old. So you don't have to give us like every project you've ever done in 4-H, but maybe just let us know a little bit. And the reason I ask that is because for our new 4-Hers, they may not realize everything that there is to do in 4-H. And so for those of you veteran 4-Hers, you can share a little bit about what you do, and it might spark some interest from those new ones. And then tell us maybe just really quickly, any kind of experience you have with agriculture and operating equipment and why you are taking the class. And I will say that because my mom is making me do it or my boss is making me do it, is an absolutely fine answer as well. So if that's the reason you're taking the class, don't be afraid to share that. All right, so we'll start with Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I've been in 4-H for a very long time. I do goats and cows, and I live on my grandfather's farm, so I feed the cows with them, and we do a whole bunch together with the animals, and I usually do a whole bunch of stuff with the tractors and stuff. So that's what I do with agriculture.
Cool. And why are you taking the class, Caitlin?
So I can bring equipment to the fields and do the fields and then bring it back and do that kind of stuff.
Cool. And did you say where you're from?
Clifton Park.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
Colin.
Hi, my name is Colin Anderson. I am from West Charlton. I grew up in 4-H, and I decided to do the tractor safety course because last year there was a few accidents near my house where there was actually a tractor that flipped over, and I was talking to my grandfather, and he decided if I really wanted to be moving equipment from the farm to the fields, that he wants me to have some sort of documentation that I took a safety course. I've showed 4-H most of my life. I've been working with sheep and beef cattle since the day I was born, and yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Colin. So this is suspenseful because you guys don't know where you're at on my screen, so you don't know who's next. Wyatt.
Hello, I'm Wyatt, and I'm in the Saratoga Sheep Club. I have been for a few years, I believe. And I'm taking this course so that I can operate the machinery on our farm that we own with sheep.
Cool. Thanks, Wyatt. Travis. Travis, I can't hear you for some reason. You unmuted yourself. Is your mic turned off? Nope, still can't hear you. You're not muted, but I tell you what, we'll come back if you want to work on that real quick. Thomas.
Hi, I'm Tom. I live in Galway, New York. This is actually my first activity with 4-H, and I'm here because my boss wanted me to do it.
An honest answer. Very cool. And do you have much experience with tractors or agriculture, Tom?
I'd say a little bit. I don't have a ton of experience like these other kids do, but I do have some sort of knowledge.
That's nothing wrong with that. So, and Travis, just so you know, but if we can't get your mic working, you can always type into the chat to tell us too. So don't panic on anything. Luke.
Hi, my name's Luke. I am from Hoosick Falls, New York. I live on a retired dairy farm, but we still do hay bales to qualify as a farm. And the reason why I am doing this course is so I can get more experience to work on the machinery at our farm and to work on the machinery at a local dairy farm.
Thanks, Luke. Samuel.
Okay, my name's Sam. I live in Charlton, New York, Burnt Hill School District. It's my first time like doing a 4-H like program. My boss wanted me to have some do the safety course because it'd be a good thing.
Cool. And do you have much experience with equipment or agriculture?
Not a ton. Very little.
Cool. And I will tell you guys, like, don't be ashamed if that's the case, because that's generally like the biggest majority of people that take this course. Like, we have people that come in and like have no experience whatsoever. So I'm glad you guys are being honest about that. Wes. Okay, so Wes doesn't have a camera or mic, but new to 4-H. He works in landscape and does asphalt with his dad, who owns a landscape company and drives the machinery. Cool. Thanks, Wes. Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin Cooper. I live in Poston Kill, and I take care of goats. And I don't have any real like tractor knowledge. Figured it'd be something good to know, so that's why I'm taking the class.
Cool. Thanks, Kevin. Olivia.
My name is Olivia Killian. I live on a retired dairy farm in Gansevoort, New York. We have beef cattle now, and I've probably been in 4-H. I've been in 4-H for a while. I show dairy cattle, and my mom signed me up for the course because she thought it would be good for me.
Thanks, Olivia. Brighton.
Hi, I'm Brighton. I live in Hartford, and this is my first 4-H activity, I guess, and my boss is making me do it.
Cool. And do you have much experience, Brighton?
A little.
Cool. Good. Aiden. Okay, Aiden, we can't hear you if you're talking. Nope, still nothing. If you want to type into the chat, that would be fine. All right, and Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm 15. I live in West Charlton, and I'm friends with Colin. I actually work on his farm a little bit over the summer.
I wouldn't admit that if I were you, Chris. Like, you should keep that stuff to yourself.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was gonna say I don't really care. But I have grew up on a small horse farm, driving tractors, and now the farm's grown and stuff. And I figured for whatever future jobs I have, if I work on other farms or anything, I should get the tractor course. And yeah, just so I have it. So
cool. Aiden, is it working yet? Still nothing. If you get a chance to type into the chat, I'll read it out for you. But we'll kind of move on. I don't want to kill your guys' evening too much. So we'll move
Leland,
on.
I think Travis's mic was working.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Go ahead, Travis. Still not hearing you. It shows up that like you're talking, but there's nothing coming out.
Yep, yeah, highlighted. Sorry.
Yeah, so feel free to type in there, Travis, if you want. We'll get that read out there too, as we see it. So while we're, oh, it looks like Travis has got us. Okay, so Travis has been in 4-H for several years. He works on a farm that milks 120 dairy cows and works roughly 1,000 acres of ground, doing the course to be able to go to another farm and be able to work. Cool. And Travis, where are you from? Cambridge. Okay, cool. And Aiden says lives on his family farm, raises beef cow and dairy cows that they show at the county fair, and has some experience with driving tractors. Very cool. Good. Well, thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate that. And we'll get to know each other a little bit better as we move forward. And then eventually we will get to see each other face to face, which will be nice. So we'll do a quick description of the course and what to expect. And Chris and Caleb, feel free to jump in here and help me out if I don't get the timeline exactly correct. I don't have it memorized. But the first thing I want to impress upon you guys is, and I tell this to every class that we do, that this is not a tractor driving course. A lot of people come in with the idea that you guys are going to leave, that we expect you to leave this course knowing how to be expert tractor drivers. And that's not the case. Obviously, we want you to be as proficient as possible, but the goal of this course is to make you guys safe operators. So this is a tractor safety course, not a tractor driving course. There will be opportunities for you to drive and develop your skills, but ultimately what we want you guys to leave this course being able to do is to operate safely within your own skill set, because there is no way to get better at operating equipment than to do it. But obviously, if you are not as well equipped to do it safely, you're never gonna be a good operator. So we want you guys feeling comfortable when you leave this course, that you're safe and can do what you do, and will progressively get better as you practice things. So we don't set expectations crazy high for you. Like, I don't expect you guys to, we don't time the course, things like that. So soak up all this information, take it for what it is, and leave this course feeling safe, and with us feeling that you're safe. So a few things that we cover in this course, and there'll be some presenters. So generally, just a little background on this course. This course was originally designed to be in person over the course of 3 days during your spring break. So we would all head to Rensselaer County. If you're in Saratoga County, you'd meet at my office, and we'd hop in a van and we'd drive down to Rensselaer County, and we would go visit a farm out by, not Petersburg, somewhere in it's eastern Rensselaer County. I can't believe it's Pittstown. Anyways, we would visit a farm out there, and we would get a presentation from the New York Center for Agricultural Medicine and Health, talking about all kinds of different hazards that you may encounter on a farm. The farmer would give us a farm tour, and then we would load up and we would go to East Greenbush, visit a large greenhouse retail facility, so that you got to get an idea of a little bit different type of agriculture and how equipment is used indoors. The second day would be all practice driving. So we'd be at Washington County doing practice driving. And the third day would be a testing day. When COVID hit last year, we kind of had to reshuffle and figure out how to do things. I prefer the in-person stuff, but I think we've done a pretty good job of making this virtual experience as valuable as the in-person. We still cover all of those things throughout this course. It's just in a virtual type of set of course modules, and there still is that hands-on component with you guys being able to have a practice day and a testing day. So we will have presentations from the New York Center for Agricultural Medicine and Health talking about hazards, and it's a recorded presentation, right, Chris? Are they live or is it recorded?
I think Kayla worked with Christine Hall, and I think it is recorded.
Recorded. Okay, so we'll watch that video.
It'll be live.
Oh, it's live. Okay, cool.
Yep, the NICAM presentation is live, but then the farm tours the following week with Beckers and Kinderhook are all recorded.
That's what it was.
Yep.
So we'll have that live presentation, and honestly, the NICAM presentation is fantastic, and it goes over a lot of the hazards that you may encounter on a work site. The farm tour, Larry Eckert and Becker's Greenhouse do a fantastic job. And I'm really excited that they're going to get to do, even if it's a recorded farm tour, talking about everything from grain bin safety to how to be safe around animals as well. We'll spend a little bit of time talking about, maybe some opportunities and careers in agriculture. We will have, and Chris, Tim is going to present for us as well. Is that right? Sorry, I feel like.
Actually, he did just get back. We've been playing phone tag. He is unable to be with us because it's a Saturday.
Okay.
And they're wicked busy on Saturdays. So we will not have Tim, unfortunately.
No problem. So we'll be spending a lot of time going over the course material, having some live and recorded presentations. And then one thing we did catch is June 5th, and I think in the letter it said June 6th, which is a Sunday. You guys might want to make sure you write this down so that it's correct. It's June 5th, which is a Saturday, will be your practice day. That's going to be at the Washington County Fairgrounds in Greenwich. And that'll be an opportunity for you guys to get on pieces of equipment and practice driving them. So we will have multiple tractors there to practice not only driving a tractor with an implement hooked up to it, but also how to safely back a tractor and hook up to an implement. And then we will also have a skid steer as well. So you guys can get an opportunity to drive a skid steer. How many people have driven a skid steer? You can just raise your hand or cool. They're like my favorite thing to teach. I just get such a kick out of them because it's such a fun, it's such a different type of driving, but and some kids I have a hard time getting them pulled out of it once they're in it. But and then the following Saturday, sorry, I'm gonna mess you guys up terribly. Which will be Saturday, June 12th will be the testing day. So testing, you guys will have an online written test. And you'll have to score 70 on that test. I think it's 50 questions. You'll have to get a score of 70. Now, the one thing I want you guys to know is we do not want you to fail. We want you to work hard on this course. We want you to pass the first time. However, if you don't pass the first time, we will let you retake the test. Again, our goal in this is not to make you fail. We want you guys to understand the material, know the material, and pass the course. So the written test will be online. Once you pass the written test, then you can go on to the skills and driving tests, which again will be on Saturday, June 12th. The skills test is going to be, everything from entering and exiting a tractor properly, backing the tractor properly, hooking up to the equipment properly, driving away properly, those types of things. And then the driving test will do everything from identifying potential hazards to backing a tractor and a trailer, or a tractor and an implement, going through serpentines, things like that. Again, our goal is not to watch you guys fail this course. If you don't feel comfortable the first time around, we give you a chance to think things through and come back and retake it. I will say in the several years that I have been teaching this course, I think we've only not passed 2, maybe 3 people. And there's been over 100 kids that have been through this course. So don't go into it with a failure type of mindset. We want you guys to pass this course and we'll do everything we can to help you. However, if we don't feel that you've put in the work or that we don't feel safe, feel that you guys are leaving this course and be able to operate safely, we can't necessarily pass you. So those few instances this happened, we just haven't been able to feel comfortable sending those kids out to work. And, there's always the opportunity to come back next year. Let's just hope that you guys don't have to do that. It's that you're not the 3 out of the over 100 people that run into that type of thing. Okay. Anything that I missed on that, Chris or Kayla, in the course overview?
We'll remind you when it gets closer to the date when we're actually in person, but we're going to have to do all those safety things where we're going to have to wear masks, physical distance when we can. But if we don't, we definitely want to make sure we have those masks on. Yes, we're going to be outside, but we, so that just so you know, we haven't forgotten about that COVID thing.
Yeah, we wipe down all the equipment in between kids and stuff like that. So you guys are great. And I work with the teen group, and that's one thing I've noticed through our teen programming. Like, you guys know the drill, and you know that if we don't obey those types of things, we can't do this course. So just remember that it's nothing we're putting in place to make you guys miserable. It's just what we have to do to keep you safe and make sure the course goes forward. Okay. At any point, if you guys have questions, let me know. But if you want to save them to the end, that's fine as well. Okay, we talked about the grading. So now what we're going to do, did anybody, I'm hoping you got the email since you're on this course tonight, but did anybody not see the email and the attached letter that came with it, like the welcome letter? Has anybody not seen that? Okay. If you have that handy, you might want to go ahead and pull that up on your computer. If you've got it, I got it on a printed piece of paper, that's fine as well. We're going to go through that letter really quickly, and we're going to kind of go through the course or go through the handbook so you guys kind of know what to expect with that. I'm going to bring up the letter really quickly. In fact, Kayla, I might need you to make me a co-host maybe, or give me, nope, I can bring it up. Cool.
Leland, oh, perfect. Never mind.
Yep, I got it. Yeah, I didn't even try it. I didn't try it before I asked. Okay. So the first thing that I want to make sure you guys have done, I know a lot of you guys are Saratoga County kids, and I have not been diligent on this yet, although I think we're in good shape. If you have not turned in your 4-H enrollment paperwork, you have to do that. That gets you covered under our insurance. That's very important. For ours, that's included in the course fee. So if you're not sure if you have joined 4-H yet, make sure you get a hold of whichever county educator you're in. So if you're in Saratoga County, reach out to me. If you're in Washington County, reach out to Chris. If you're in Rensselaer County, reach out to Kayla. And we'll get you guys taken care of. It's not a big deal. It's just a little bit of paperwork you have to do. And make sure you get those course fees paid as well. Okay. We want you guys to participate in all of the online sessions and all of the in-person sessions. However, we know there are a lot of conflicts, and in some rare cases, there might be a case where you might not be able to make it. And that reminds me, we need to be recording this. It's like, oh, we're going to record every one, and we I haven't set it up to record yet. So we're going to do our best to remember to.
Leland, I'm recording it, by the way.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to stop recording then. Thanks, Kayla. So if for some reason you can't make it, it's really important that you guys let us know that you aren't going to be able to make it to a specific session. So whether that's the day of, the week of, or if you know your schedule right now and you know that you're not going to be able to make it on the third session, just let us know. We're not going to give you a hard time about it, but we just want to kind of keep dibs on making sure that you're participating in the course fully. That's very important. So May 6th, obviously is today. This is our orientation question and answer session. May 13th, which is next Thursday, we're going to be getting our live presentation from NICAMP, which is the New York Center for Agricultural and Medicine and Health. May 20th is going to be farm tours. And then we're skipping a Thursday. And then on June 3rd, it's going to be practice day for the written test. And so we might have some fun quiz games, those types of things, and just getting you guys prepared for the written test, which will be available after that session. And you guys will have several days to complete that before the end of the course. So the written test is going to be done virtually through Qualtrics. That's kind of a survey system, but it works actually pretty well. And you guys will get to know it pretty well because that's what your homework is on, which we'll talk about in a second. So as long as you can make sense of how we do the homework, you won't have any trouble making sense of how the test is done. So the following dates are held at the Washington County Fairgrounds. We already talked about this, but June 6th is going to be the practice day for your skills and driving. And June 12th is going to be the test day for the skills and driving. You guys do have homework, and it's outlined. We'll get to it at the bottom of this, but there's 6 chapters in your manual. Each chapter is made up of sections. So it's like 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, so on and so forth. And there's going to be a online questionnaire, online homework piece that pulls directly from your book. I did go through this last week. They just changed the book this year, so I had to go through and fix that a little bit from the last book. So all the questions that are in your homework will come directly out of the book. It's really important that you guys do all of the homework and make sure that your name is included on the homework, because if you don't complete the homework, you don't complete the course. So we will be keeping tabs on that as well. we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. You're required to complete all the quizzes, pass your virtual written test with 70% or higher, and pass your in-person skills test and driving test with 70% as well. Okay, now we're getting to the fun part. So we have made the manual. It is a big manual. Like the paper manual is a fairly large book. It's got a lot of pictures in it, but it's over 300 pages. So it's a pretty large manual. So don't cram all this into one night. Just take it section by section. It's not overwhelming. It's a little overwhelming to look at from this standpoint, but I went through all of the quizzes like in a couple of hours the other day. So it's definitely not anything that's impossible if you guys can devote a little bit of time each week to going through these sections. The letter contains, we've got it split out by section. So if you click on this click on this link right here, it takes you to the full manual. Don't do that. That's really overwhelming. It's like 300 pages in a PDF. Don't do it. That's gonna blow your mind. Start down here where it's broken up into sections. And what I would encourage you guys to do, read section 1 and then do the quiz. Read section 2 and then do the quiz. So we'll visit this. Hopefully you guys can see this. Are you guys seeing the PDF or the picture of the tractor? Or are you guys still seeing the, all right. I had a feeling that was the case. Okay, so this is what the course sections look like. Like I said, there's a lot of pictures. It's not crazy overwhelming to read. It's definitely not too far into the weeds as far as you guys understanding this stuff. There probably will be pieces, especially if you're fairly new to equipment, that may not make sense. And I would encourage you guys, if you have any questions at all, save those for our online sessions because we're happy to answer any of those questions. Chances are, if you have a question about something, somebody else has the exact same question. So don't be afraid if you don't understand what some acronym means, or you don't know, don't understand what we mean by hand signals or those types of things. Don't be afraid to reach out to us and save those questions for the online sessions. So section 1 is the introduction. It really goes over a lot of basic hazards and types of things that you may encounter, and then also a lot of the regulatory stuff that comes along with this. So who sets OSHA standards and what role does the Department of Transportation have to play, or those types of things. It's a lot of acronyms, a lot of definitions and things like that. This is probably the driest portion of it, so it's probably good that it's the first thing you guys do, because if you're going to get bored with anything, it's going to be the section 1, but it has a lot of really, really good information. So so please make sure that you do that. And I'm going to go back here and bring up section 2. Okay, are you guys seeing the picture of the tractor? Cool. Safety basics. This goes over some of the statistics around farm injuries, identifying risks and the nature of risks. So there's everything from risks associated with rollovers and electrical, all that type of stuff. I'm not going to dig down too deep. But this is really an eye-opening chapter, because you don't realize how many risks you face when you work in agriculture, and it's just the nature of it. So there's really nothing that you do in your life that is totally risk-free. And agriculture is one of those things where we try to manage the risks as well as we can, but there's always going to be risk involved. And the most important thing to keep yourself safe is to know how to identify risks and how to try to work around them. So how to work safely around them. You can never totally get rid of any risk. It's impossible to do. So section 2 is all about risk and how to manage risk. Okay. Section 3, we're almost halfway done here. Section 3, we've got more hazards and how to identify hazards. And this gets a little bit more in depth and maybe a little bit more graphic as far as some of the hazards that are, especially around equipment. It talks about entanglements, crush points, pinch points, those types of things around different types of equipment. NICAM will be talking about a lot of this stuff. And so I would encourage you guys before next week to at least get through section 3 so that you kind of understand a little bit what NICAM is talking about whenever they're talking about freewheeling parts or pinch points. That way you're not just coming into it blind, you kind of know what some of those things are. Okay. Section 4. Section 4 is about tractors, and this goes everything from center of gravity to different controls, different things like that. All the hazards built around that you might run into with tractors, PTO shafts, that type of stuff is all going to be in section 4. So if you're not experienced with tractors, this is one I really want you guys to pay attention to so that when you show up for the practice driving day, you kind of have some idea of where the clutch is located, where forward controls are located. I'm not going to make you guys I'm not going to say you're on your own. You should have read the book. But if you can come at least a little bit prepared with that stuff, it's definitely makes our job a little bit easier and helping you guys go through that practice session. Okay, section 5. Connecting implements. This goes over a lot more of the skills-based type of stuff, which is like backing a tractor to hook up to an implement, a lot more about the dangers of PTO shafts. There's some really good stuff. Like I love this graphic here about pulling stumps. That's one thing. And I'm sure that NICAM will talk about it, but I'm always amazed at the number of people that roll a tractor over on themselves by trying to pull a stump out of the ground. Hitching points and things like that, which gets a little bit more into the center of gravity that you guys will have already learned about. And then section 6. Section 6 is material handling equipment. So this is where we get into our skid steers and our manure, or not manure, the silage strippers and things like that, and some of the hazards related with that. So for instance, I mentioned skid steers, one of my favorite things to teach. It's also one of the most dangerous pieces of equipment that you guys could be on because there are so many pinch points and crush points and things like that. So this is going to go over all the material handling type of safety things. And I will say I always read this skid steer because the first time I got in a skid steer, I almost tipped it sideways because I was driving with my bucket too high and going too fast. And I took a turn and it really almost went over on 2 wheels. Fortunately, it came back down, but I really thought I was going to tip that thing over. And so anytime I read this, I'm always reminded of how easy it is to get into those types of situations. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Just got a couple more things to cover with you guys, but I've covered a lot of material already. So do you have any questions so far?
Leland, did you say that if I think you did, but if anybody wants a hard copy,
I didn't get to that. Nope.
Yep.
Thank
Let your, if you're from Washington County, let me know, or Kayla know if you're Rensselaer County, whatever county you're from, let them know, and they will get you a hard copy.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, we're not printing out one for everyone just because it's 300 pages and we put them in a binder. We're more than happy to, but we're just trying to save on paper if you guys are more comfortable working from a digital copy. But if you do want a hard copy, don't be afraid to let us know and we'll get that printed up for you and make it available for you guys to pick up. And like Chris said, if you're in Rensselaer County, it'll be at their office. If you're in Saratoga County, it'll be at our office. So don't be afraid to reach out if you want the hard copy. Okay, so no more questions on that one. And you guys all saw where the homework was out on that welcome letter. If you guys at any point and this is something to cover too, because we never think about it until the time is here. If you have any issues with homework, opening links, getting it to save, all of those things, please let us know. Don't just assume that because the link won't open, you don't have to do it. Every year we seem to run into issues with somebody not being able to open the homework link. Reach out to me. You've got all of our email addresses. If it's reaching out to me or Chris or Kayla, let some of us know, because if it doesn't work for you, it's probably not working for everybody else. And again, if you don't complete the homework, you don't complete the course. So that's another reason not to save everything until the last night, which happens every year. Somebody logs on the last night and all of a sudden they're panicking because they can't open the homework link. And I'm sitting at home watching The Office and I get frazzled emails because some kid can't open the homework link up at 10 o'clock the night before it's due. So please, 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 if you have issues, let us know, and don't save it all till the end, because if you do, you're probably going to have issues. Okay.
And Leland, you did just say that for next week with NICAM, I think it was chapter 3.
Yeah, try to get through chapter 3. I would encourage you guys to go chapter 1 through 3. You should be able to get through that. I mean, I know it seems like a lot of reading, but you should be able to get that through that within a couple of hours, guys, really. So just sit down, turn out any distractions, and crush through it, and you'll be fine. Okay, so the last thing, and we'll talk about this as we get closer as well, is what we expect from you guys on the day of and the in-person stuff. We'll talk more about like what kind of safety, what you need to wear or in an agricultural type of setting. But we do encourage you guys, no loose clothing, and you'll learn about this as you read your book. No loose clothing, no loose earrings, keep your hair up. If you have long hair, wear a ball cap or keep it up. All closed-toed shoes, so no wearing sandals or anything like that. Really, we encourage you guys to wear long pants, and if it's warm out, a t-shirt's fine, but no really super baggy hoodies or anything like that, or crazy baggy jackets or anything. We've been fortunate. Well, the good thing about doing this in June is generally we have pretty good weather. When we did this in April in the past, we've done it when it's been 70 degrees outside, but we've also done it in the snow. So fortunately in June, we don't have to worry so much about the snow. But as we get closer, we'll know a little bit more what to expect. But just keep that in mind. If you, as we get closer, you're going to need to keep that in mind for the day of in-person stuff. Okay. So we are about 10 minutes away from an hour, and I want to see, well, first of all, Chris, Kayla, have I missed anything here?
No, it just occurred to me, Leland, I don't know if any of you are not in one of our 3 counties. We just said to contact your 4-H educator. And I've made the assumption that we're all in one of these 3 counties. And if you're not, just let us know and we'll get you connected or whatever. But
I think everybody is.
Okay.
Right? Everybody's either in Rensselaer, Saratoga, or Washington County, right? Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Any questions at all from you guys? Are you guys like all overwhelmed and feeling uncomfortable about it? Good, good. The most daunting thing is seeing that humongous manual, and I promise you guys can get through it. It's not crazy hard. It's really useful information. So if you're taking this course, it all applies to you. It's not just some random math problem we're having you do. You can see yourself in all of these situations. So please take it as such, stuff that you're going to use. All right. If there's no questions, again, guys, don't be afraid to reach out. Let us know if you have run into any issues or have problems. Again, if you can't make it to a session, please let us know ahead of time just so we can keep track of that. If you can't make it to a session, make sure that you guys are watching those recorded pieces. We'll try to get those emailed out to you for the links for accessing those.
And I just have one more suggestion. For those of you that are working on a family farm, feel free to share these manuals, these chapters in the manual with those that you're working with. Leland mentioned at the beginning how he grew up around tractors and machinery and equipment, and he developed some not so safe habits.
Not some, a lot of not so safe habits.
And so we want to make sure that you don't get any pushback from your parents, your grandparents, or your employers. We want to make sure that what you are learning, you know that this is the safe way to proceed. And so feel free, take that opportunity and share that with them. And I think there's questions at the end, and it might be fun for you to quiz at the end of each of the modules. It might be fun for you to quiz that parent or grandparent or whoever you might be working with.
All right, everybody. If there's nothing else, we will see you guys back on here at 6:30 next Thursday. And how many sections are you getting through before next Thursday? 3, right? Cool. Sam, did you have a question? Oh, you were probably saying bye. I saw your hand go up and I was like, Luke, do you have a question?
Yeah, I actually skimmed through the manual today, and I was wondering about the ATV topic.
Okay, good question. There is a little piece on there on ATVs and UTVs. This is one thing we've always addressed, and generally when we have done it in the past, now you guys won't be driving ATVs this year. Don't let that get you down, because when we used to do the ATVs, and probably will in the future, they have to be under 90 cc. Since you have to be over 16 to drive anything bigger, which is pretty lame. So the ATVs, everybody got really excited when you saw a 4-wheeler sitting out there, and then you realize it's like got the power of a weed eater. It's actually, it was less exciting than it seemed. But there is a section in your book that talks about that. Another thing we've covered in the past and probably won't this year is a little bit of chainsaw safety. I don't think we've got anybody to teach it this year. So there are some other things in there. But that's a good question, Luke. There is a piece of ATV safety in there. You guys won't have the driving portion for the ATV. You weren't tested on it in the past anyways. It was just an opportunity to drive it, but it wasn't that exciting anyway. So you're not really missing too much. And you had to wear a helmet and all that good stuff. So you put all that time into getting the helmet to fit, and then you got on a little weed eater and drove a circle and came back. So cool. All right, any other questions? All right, guys. So next Thursday at 6:30, we'll see ya. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Have a good day.